Hi, Mike Coluzzi here, business coach and trusted advisor to service-based professionals and entrepreneurs who want to overcome frustration and overwhelm in their business so they can grow it to its fullest potential. So if your eyes gravitated towards the title of my video today, chances are, you're feeling overwhelmed or may have been feeling overwhelmed recently or stressed out. So let's face it, otherwise you would have skipped it, right? You would have skipped the video. But since it did resonate with you, I'm asking you to stick around for a few minutes because I believe that you're going to find this video helpful. So today I want to talk to you about understanding the origins of stress. Now, I'm not talking about positive stress, I'm talking about negative stress. And yes, there is obviously a difference. We all recognize that positive stress, they have characteristics that are associated with, you know, motivating situations, right? Where we feel really focused, and it's good scenarios where it may be lasting only a short term, but we're feeling excited and it's tied into us wanting to really improve our performance in a positive way. It's in situations when, we got that promotion at work, or we're starting a new job, starting a new relationship with someone, we're buying a home, all those great life events that, provide us with positive environments and a rush of energy, which can create, again, stress, but good stress. But when we're talking about the negative stressors, right? Otherwise, like distressful situations, those are situations that can cause us concern and anxiety. They could be long term, or sometimes they're short term or long term. It really depends on the situation. But the reality is, it's a scenario where we oftentimes, we perceive it as something that's kind of coming out as an outside force that we have to deal with, or really challenges like our coping ability. So obviously, in negative, stressful situations, we're usually not feeling too good about ourselves, or kind of more unpleasant. And it degrades or decreases our ability to perform at our optimal level. All right. So the common belief is that, negative stress is caused by external factors, right? Whether it be situations like, God forbid, the loss of a loved one or a spouse, or relationship problems, divorce, things along those lines, bankruptcy, money problems, unemployment, job insecurity, stress about the job, conflict amongst, your the people in your life, your coworkers, your family members, right? We all recognize those scenarios, and we realize that those external factors, they can trigger a stress response, but they're not the cause of the stress. Okay, the cause of the stress is is internal. Now, for some of us, this may sound a little counterintuitive, but I assure you, it is not. So, the book that's been most helpful for me to understand the origins, um, of stress, and it's one that my business coach advised me to read years and years ago, is is a book called Letting Go by David Hawkins. Okay. It's a book that I recommend all of my clients to read on a routine basis, because it's not the kind of book that you're going to kind of read once and put on the shelf and say, okay, I'm done with that. Next. It's a book that you use, really, as a touchstone for maintaining a healthy understanding on how to let go of negative thoughts and feelings in your life. Now, one of the biggest and most meaningful chapters in the book is chapter 2, where Dr. Hawkins addresses feelings and stress. All right. And he really, in that chapter, that's where he dispels the notion that stress is a result of external factors. So I'm actually going to read a quote from you, from page 14, and I'm going to just ask you to just pay attention and indulge me on this, because the words are extremely powerful. All right. So I'm going to just kind of quote it from here for you now. So he says on page 14, there is much attention and publicity given to the subject of stress without a real understanding of its essential nature. It is said that we are more stress prone than ever. What is the essential cause of stress? Certainly, it is not the external precipitating factors. They are merely examples of the mechanisms we described as projection. It is they or the it that is thought to be the culprit, when in fact, what we are feeling is merely the letting go of the inner pressure of repressed emotions. Now, he says further, it is the repressed feelings that make us vulnerable to external stress. The real source of stress is actually internal, it is not external as people would like to believe. The readiness to react with fear, for instance, depends on how much fear is already present within to be triggered by a stimulus. The more fear we have on the inside, the more our perception of the world is changed to a fearful, guarded expectancy. To the fearful person, the world is a terrifying place. To the angry person, this world is of chaos and frustration and vexation. To the guilty person, it is a world of temptation and sin, which they see everywhere. What we are holding inside colors our world. If we let go of guilt, we see innocence. However, a guilt ridden person will see only evil. The basic rule is that we focus on what we have repressed. Stress results from the accumulated pressure of our repressed and suppressed feelings. The pressure seeks itself, and so external events only trigger what we have been holding on to both consciously and unconsciously. The energy of our blocked off feelings reemerges through our automatic nervous system and causes pathological changes leading to a disease process. Now, that's that's a mouthful, and I totally get it. And it may require multiple listenings, and I would highly recommend you do so. But at this point, you may be even asking yourself, like, what the heck is an autonomic nervous system? The autonomic nervous system, just so you know, it's part of your nervous system that controls your involuntary actions, such as how your beating heart, right? How your blood vessels contract and expand, right? And when something goes wrong, with this system, it usually causes problems that we have trouble with. For example, like our blood pressure, we develop heart problems. We have a difficult problems breathing or swallowing. Okay, so when he mentions autonomic nervous system, that's what he means. So just to kind of reiterate, he said the energy of our blocked off feelings reemerges through our autonomic nervous system and causes pathological changes leading to the disease process. Now, moving on, he goes on to state a negative feeling instantly causes loss of 50% of the body's muscle strength and also narrows our vision both physically and mentally. Stress is our emotional reaction to a precipitating factor or stimulus. Stress is determined by our belief systems and their associated emotional pressures. It is not the external stimulus, then, that is the cause of stress, but our degree of reactivity. The more surrendered we are, the less prone we are to stress. Sorry. So let me repeat that. The more surrendered we are, the less prone we are to stress. The damage caused by stress is merely the result of our own emotions. Many stress reduction programs offered today often miss the essential point. They try to relive the after effects of stress rather than remove the cause of the stress itself or concentrate on the external events. This is like trying to reduce the fever without correcting the infection. For instance, muscle tension is the aftermath of aftermath of anxiety, fear, anger, and guilt. A course in these techniques of muscle relaxation is going to be of very limited benefit. It would be far more effective instead to remove the source of the underlying tension, which is repressed and suppressed anger, fear, guilt, or other negative feelings. Again, I understand that's a mouthful, and it's a lot to ask you to take in on one listen. So I'm going to ask you to listen to it again and really, pick up the book, right? It's really great because this is extremely enlightening content. It's energizing content. Okay. It's empowering content. It's these words of wisdom that, they come into our path when we're open to change and we open ourselves up to be vulnerable for the sake of growth in our lives. Okay. These are my words, not Dr. Hawkins, by the way, which you may have picked up by now. But, if you think about it, letting go and surrendering to this process it's a brave stance. And if you embrace it, you will be open to a whole new level of possibilities for your individual growth in your business and in your life. And it only exists when you, like I said, open yourself to this possibility, right, of being vulnerable and surrendering to the process where you can allow this level of enlightenment and power to come into your life and to really make a positive difference, right? Now, I'm saying it as someone who recognizes and has wasted time allowing fear and stress to dictate many of my actions and decisions in the past. And I can attest firsthand that when I embraced this process of letting go and understanding the origins of my feelings of stress and overwhelm, okay, that it has allowed me to move ahead. All right. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't continuously have these situations. I do, but I've learned the process. And learning this process allows me to negate the impact of stressful situations, and it comes up less frequently, and I'm able to resolve those feelings on a much quicker time frame. And that's the goal of what I look to do with the people who I work with. Okay. It is a process, but one which, once you are become enlightened and you understand this at the core essence of who you are, then it's a matter of them being able to help others do it. And that's why I feel so grateful that this book was introduced to me and that, I have a chance to use it on a regular basis. So you have to think about that a little bit as you move forward, because if you are able to show up each and every day as your best version of yourself, it's going to be your family, your friends, your colleagues, and the people you serve who are going to benefit most while you allow yourself to move forward in total alignment with your power to really embrace your highest and best self and not waste time on the negative energy and emotions that are associated with stress, frustration, and overwhelm. So if you made it through this video, first, I'd like to say thank you, for doing so. And I appreciate you, that you tuned in. I truly hope that it was helpful to you. And all I ask you to do is just a few things. If if this video was helpful to you, I would ask you to share it with two people. Share it with two people who you believe would find it beneficial. And if you're watching this video on LinkedIn Live or YouTube, or you're listening to it on one of my podcasts, I'm going to ask that you visit my respective page and then click on that notification bell so you'll be notified of all of future content that I provide on those platforms. And if you're on Facebook, feel free to connect with me there. You can also join my free Facebook group, which will allow you to get this content on a regular basis. The links associated with all those things will be in the comments below. Lastly, if you are a service-based professional or an entrepreneur who is looking to overcome overwhelm and frustration in your business so you can truly grow to your full potential, I invite you to reach out to me for a free consultation. You will find those links below. Okay, so again, I hope this was helpful. I'm Mike Coluzzi, and I wish you a great day, and thank